Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to the Live and Learn podcast. So we're doing well on this Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2025. It is the eve before the start of the NFL season. It all kicks off tomorrow. Cowboys, Eagles in Philadelphia. Banner will be raised. The new season starts. I cannot wait. We got a game Thursday. We got a game Friday night in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Full slate on Sunday. Ends Monday night with a matchup between the Bears and the Vikings. NFL being back, college football being back. There's no better time. One might argue there's no better time in the year than right now because it's all the best things on at once. You can flip channels. Not to mention you got the Blue Jays in a race for first with a win last night against the Cincinnati Reds. You have Felix Auger-Aliassime advancing to his first major semifinal today, defeating Alex de Minaur of Australia in 4 sets, nearly 4 hours of tennis. What a win for him. Just saw Amanda Anisimova defeat Iga Swiatek in the quarterfinal. She lost to her in the Wimbledon final 6-0, 6-0, a double bagel. Gets revenge on to the semifinal for her. Hell of a run, hell of a season for her. She's going to enter the top 5, first time in her career. She will get the winner of Naomi Osaka, Karolina Muchova tonight, primetime at the U.S. Open. Not to mention you got Djokovic, Alcaraz on Friday. So lots of great tennis, lots of great things happening in the sports world as we talk. But tonight's about the NFL and teams, over-unders, best bets I like for week 1. We're also going to talk college football, best bets for week 2. So that's all coming up tonight. I'm going to give my Super Bowl prediction. So that is all forthcoming. This season, I will be doing a live podcast every Sunday night. After the games, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I will do a podcast reacting to the day's games. So this is following the 2 o'clock and the 5:30 games. I will then go live, react to everything. I'll then jump back on. Tuesday podcast talking about the events of the week so far, what we saw, things going on. And then we'll have another podcast, depending on the week, Thursday or Friday, with heavy gambling show about the best bets for the week. So Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursday or Friday. So 3 podcasts a week. Lots of coverage, lots of NFL talk. Try to get some guests. Gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun this season. Join in, like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube because there's gonna be a lot of content, a lot of fun stuff this NFL season. It's my favorite sport to talk about, by far. I love hockey. I love other sports. There's nothing like football. It's a drug. So, tonight, over-unders, AFC, NFC. I'm also going to talk playoff teams in each conference. So, let's start with the AFC East. The team that's going to finish first in this conference, to me, is going to be the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have many distinct advantages. They have the second or third best quarterback in the game in Josh Allen. They have a unique home field advantage. The last season, before the change, before the new stadium, Buffalo, last stadium at Highmark, cold weather, it's rare. Buffalo has a distinct advantage that Not many other teams do anymore. Lambeau, but you look Detroit, they play in a dome. Minnesota plays in a dome. So they have a distinct advantage, and their weather is different than, say, New England in this division. Buffalo. They're running back a similar team that got to the AFC Championship game. They didn't win, but they were damn close. And Keon Coleman, second-year wide receiver, you're hoping can improve. I think he will. Shakir, Joshua Palmer, I think is going to have a massive season. A good two-headed monster at running back. Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa. A defense that, could it be better? Yes. But I think it's better than it was. And that's the key thing. Can it compete with the best in the league? I think so. Top 10 by the end of the season? Absolutely can be. Not to mention that Buffalo, to me, is just, they're riding this wave. They had a first-place schedule, but they get Baltimore at home. Eagles at home. They go to Detroit this year. Tough game. But their over-under, these are all courtesy of FanDuel, is at 12.5. And you can get the over at plus 250. Here's my thing. I don't see how this team loses 5 games. To me, there's a much better chance this team goes 14-3 than 12-5. Because let's say they stumble and lose a game in their division. I don't think they will. But if it happens, it'll be to New England, not to the other two teams, because we'll get to them, because they just, quite frankly, aren't that good. But just pulling up their schedule quickly. They open home to the Ravens. Nice. Get it at home. At Jets. Host Dolphins. They play the Saints. At Atlanta. Carolina. Okay. Host Kansas City at home, who they always beat in the regular season. At the Dolphins in November. It's not that warm in Miami in November. Host the Buccaneers, a good team. At Houston. Night game. Okay, tough game. They lost it in Houston last year. At Steelers. Host Bengals. At the Browns. Eagles at home. I don't see 5 losses. I don't know if they'll lose 4 games. I think the Bills can go 14-3. Absolutely. So to me, Buffalo over 12.5, that's an easy over. You can get them still plus 250. I'm hammering that. You can also parlay that into them winning the Super Bowl. You can get those odds at plus 560. Don't hate that either. We'll reveal my Super Bowl prediction in a bit. But Buffalo, way over, top seed in the AFC for me. Doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. Remember, these are just regular season. Next best odds in the division, New England. 8.5. New England won 4 games last year. They had the 4th pick in the draft. They got Mike Vrabel as a head coach. The Belichick disciples are gone, so to speak. They bring in Stephon Diggs, a healthy Drake May. Ramondre Stevenson's going to be a great draft pick. Their defense, shaky. But they're a solid team, and I really like Drake May, and I like Mike Vrabel. Because he can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And I don't think this team's chicken shit, but they're not, the veal. Try the veal. They're not great. So, New England for me. There's teams every year that stunk and then make the playoffs. Washington was that team last year. Nobody thought Washington would make the playoffs. They did. They had a hell of a run. Could that be New England this year? Could be. Denver was another one of those teams. New England to me, 8.5 is an over. You can get them over plus 110. It's not great odds, but even still, I think New England gets 10 wins. 10 wins you need 10 wins in the AFC to make the playoffs. They get at least 10. Advantages. You get to play the AFC East. Buffalo's tough. Yes. The other four, not really. They get to play a last place schedule. They're playing crappy teams on their schedule. I like their quarterback. I like their coach. I like their running back tandem. Their defense, will they have to outscore some weeks? Absolutely. Not a perfect team. Not a Super Bowl team. But that's besides the point. I'm concerned about the 8.5. New England, 8.5. They win 10 games. Absolutely. New England, over 8.5. I give them 10 wins. I got New England as a playoff team. Next best in the division, Miami, 7.5. Under. 7.5. 7.5. When I first saw it, I thought it was a typo. But then I went back and looked. I said, no, it's 7.5. Miami was 8-9 last year. But their defense, they have the worst cornerback room in football. They have a quarterback who's as feeble as a 90-year-old. Tyreek Hill cares more about procreation than he does playing football. Jalen Waddle's hurt before the season even starts. Teron Armstead retired. Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. Nobody likes his shtick anymore. And oh, by the way, the team just isn't that good. Darren Waller's coming in retirement to play tight end. Woof. Offensive line, don't trust it. Love the running backs. If it was 1974, I might like this team because they could run the hell out of the football. Probably not going to happen. Because you go 7.5. That means you got to get 8 wins to hit the over. And it's a real simple exercise. You go, okay, this team's going to get 8 wins. How the hell are they going to do that? Well, I'll tell you this. If it's going to happen, they're going to have to beat the Colts week 1. Host Patriots, loss. At Bills, loss. Let's say host Jets. I'll give them a win there. At Carolina, they can maybe win that. Chargers, Browns. It's okay. Say maybe they win 3 of their first 6 games. Pretty good start. Falcons, Ravens, Bills, Commanders, Saints. Okay, 4 wins. Jets, maybe 5. At Steelers in December, loss. Host Bengals, loss. Buccaneers, loss. At Patriots in January, loss. That's 5 wins. Maybe 6. Not a playoff team. McDaniel, first coach fired. I don't mind that prop either. Under. Easy. Under. That brings us to the New York Jets. 6.5. Tough news today. Elijah Vera Tucker, their best guard, tore his tricep. He's out for the season. They were 5-12 last year. You can get them over 6.5 at plus 220, which is nice juice. But I in my heart, I want to bet this over because I really like Justin Fields. And I kind of like Aaron Glenn. But no. Let's say they win 1 against the Dolphins. They never beat the Patriots. They're not beating the Bills. 6. Maybe they get to 6. You can get them plus money to finish 3rd in this division. I don't hate that bet. To finish above the Dolphins. The Dolphins stink, in my opinion. Stink. And this team is going to quit quick. It's the whole, ugh. So I don't hate that bet. Plus money, I think it's plus 225 for them to finish above the Dolphins, finish 3rd in the AFC East. That's a solid bet. But I think the Jets, their best case scenario this year is to get 6 wins. They're not getting 7. So under Jets. Over Bills, over Patriots, under Jets, under Dolphins. Let's move AFC North. Baltimore, 11.5. Baltimore has a really tough early part of their schedule. I'm going to find it here for you. Starts Sunday night in Buffalo. What a great first Sunday night football game, by the way. It starts in Buffalo. Host Browns, okay. Host the Lions, tough. At Kansas City. Home Houston. Home Rams. That's their first 6 games. You go 500 out of that, you're feeling pretty good. And after that stretch, they might not lose another game. Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, maybe, Steelers. 11.5. I think the Ravens with Lamar, I think he's going to be great again because he always is. They still have a great team. This isn't about how he's going to play in the playoffs. Again, irrelevant. He's one of the best performers in the regular season in league history, period. A multiple-time MVP. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, good running backs. A defense that to me is improved, not incredibly, but they're okay. They will not be as good as Buffalo, but I believe Baltimore will finish second in the AFC. I believe Baltimore will win at least 12 games. The over, you're not even getting plus juice, so the books don't think they're going to go under that. Over is minus 125. 12 plus wins, you get them on juice if you think they can go 13-4. I don't think it's crazy. But again, shallow margin because I think that first 6-game stretch is brutal for the Ravens. But over 11.5. Won't be as good as Buffalo because I think Buffalo goes 13-4 or 14-3. I lean 14-3. I don't think Baltimore can do that. If they beat Buffalo week 1, maybe. Cincinnati Bengals, 9.5. This team is in no man's land. That's what the books are telling us. The over-under is the same for the juice. Minus 110 for the over and the under. Joe Burrow, back. Jamar Chase, back. T. Higgins, back. Trey Hendrickson, back. New defensive coordinator Al Golden. Check. Shamar Stewart, first-round pick on defense. Wasn't there for a while. Now he's back. Okay, check. But what? This team isn't that different from last year, a team that didn't make the playoffs. A team that needs a lot of help. A team that I don't think did enough to help the roster to improve that much. So, as much as I like Burrow, and Zach Taylor's going to fire under his ass to win because he knows his job is on the line, I lean under for Cincinnati. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be a playoff team. I think there's only going to be one playoff team from the AFC North this year. As much as I think Joe Burrow is as talented as any quarterback in the league, I don't believe that they're going to win 10. I don't think they can win 10 games. Cincinnati Bengals. Not a brutal schedule, but they're not a great team. Such a small margin for error. They lost to Cleveland last year. They lost to New England last year. So Cincinnati under 9.5 for me. They finished with 9 wins. Pittsburgh Steelers. The last stand for Aaron Rodgers, who leaves the Jets, goes to Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, hoping to find something. They traded George Pickens to the Cowboys. They got DK Metcalf in now. Just re-signed Jalen Warren. Najee Harris has gone to the Chargers. TJ Watt re-signed. Cam Hayward will be back. Pittsburgh always finishes above 500. That's their thing. And Vegas puts it at 8.5. You take the over, they're 9-8. Mike Tomlin's streak of over 500 seasons continues to be year 18 of him doing that. Aaron's 41. Doesn't move like he used to, but who does? They're pushing the chips all in on a team that won't be Super Bowl caliber, a team that won't be a playoff team for me. And although I've seen the Steelers make the playoffs with far worse teams and far worse quarterbacks, so I'll probably regret saying this from the beginning. But for the first time in Tomlin's tenure, I think the Steelers go under this season. I don't think they get to 9 wins. I don't think that his streak will continue because I just don't trust this team. I look around, there's so many dangerous objects. Rodgers' volatility and players bitching about contracts and DK Metcalf. A couple injuries, this team goes to hell. I think they go 8-9. Could they squeak a 9-8? Yes, you can get them the over, plus 100. Under is minus 120. It's not awesome juice on either bet. But 8-9 for the Steelers for me. Not a playoff team. Streak ends. I wouldn't do it, but it could be Mike Tomlin's last year in Pittsburgh. I think it's crazy to fire him because he's really good at what he does. But that doesn't mean, there's stupid people. Jerry Jones is an owner. So there's lots of stupid people that own NFL teams. Last team in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, more quarterbacks than the state of Texas. Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. You can parlay Cleveland that all 3 quarterbacks will play this year. I think it's over 3.5 quarterbacks is something like plus 280. So that would mean another quarterback I have to play. You never know. I think at least 3 quarterbacks play for the Browns this year. Shedeur, Dylan, and Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, presumably his last season. The Browns stink. They have a brutal first 6 games that includes a trip to London to play a game overseas. They open against Cincinnati. We'll talk about that line in a bit when we get there. Over minus 140, under plus 120. Plus juice on the under. Again, New England won 4 games last year. 4 games. I don't think this Cleveland team's any better than New England of last year. And that's kind of how I look at it. They open with the Bengals, who the Bengals always struggle in week 1, and you could even put that in as one of their wins. At Ravens, Packers, at Detroit, Vikings in London, at Pittsburgh, Miami, maybe a win. At Patriots, at Jets, maybe. At Raiders, no. San Francisco, no. At home Tennessee, maybe. Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. I don't see 5 wins. Cleveland is a team that will want to be one of the worst teams in the league to get a quarterback out of this crop in 2026. I like Cleveland under. They win 3-4 games. They do not get to 5. You can get them under plus juice. I'm taking that every day of the week. Get it while you still can. AFC South. Houston, 9.5. This division, I've seen NFL analysts go all over the place. Some love Houston. Some love Indy. Some are on the Jacksonville love here. Houston had an awful season, but still won a playoff game, destroyed the Chargers, and nearly beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Had a ton of injuries, had a brutal offensive line, couldn't run the football, and yet still won a division and won a playoff game. They drafted Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins from Iowa State, 2 really good receivers. They've improved their offensive line. It will take time, but it's better than it was last year. Hard to be worse, but it's better. CJ Stroud, I think the guy can play. I think he's really good. So I'm in on him. Not giving up on him. I like their coach. I think he's smart. And by the way, they have an awesome defense. By far the best defense in this division. One of the top 5 defenses in the league. The Houston Texans. Physical group that will take people on and win. 9.5's the number. AFC South. I get, AFC South teams suck. Plus, Houston, it's true, they have a difficult schedule because they finished in first place. Even in saying that, Houston, at Rams, host Bucks, at Jags, Titans, at Ravens, at Seattle, host the 49ers, host the Broncos, Jaguars, at Titans, Bills, Colts, at Chiefs, Cardinals, host the Raiders, at Chargers, host the Colts. That's brutal. Brutal. But some of those games where you go on paper, they'll probably be an underdog. I think they're going to win a couple of them. Houston will get to 10 wins. They're going to win this division for the 3rd year in a row with CJ Stroud. Best coach, best quarterback, best team. One team from the AFC South makes the playoffs. It's going to be Houston, to me anyway. Tough road, they can overcome it. Houston, over 9.5, minus 125. Shit juice. But I think they go over. I think they'll be the 4th seed. Indianapolis. Indianapolis and Jacksonville. This is interesting to me. I put Indy first, even though they're at 6.5. Jacksonville was at 7.5. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, Liam Cohen, Travis Hunter, all this hoopla. In Indy, you have Shane Steichen on his last legs and Danny Dimepiece coming in. And you go Anthony Richardson, bust. Sure, why not? Easy narrative. But I look at Indy. I think they're going to run the football well. I don't think they'll be explosive, but they'll do okay. They have winnable games, like the Dolphins in week 1. And I think Indy gets more than 6.5 wins. I like them for the over, plus 126. Indianapolis Colts. I think they can get 8 wins. Finish below 500, get 8 wins. To me, they're the biggest threat in this division because I have Jacksonville under 7.5. People want Jacksonville to be great. I don't think they're going to be. Trevor Lawrence has never been great in his NFL career. Inconsistent, injury-prone, stupid decision-making. Does he have a better coach? Sure. And I don't like picking all the same division winners, but I'm going to. Because competence beats projection to me, or beats hype. And I just think Houston's smarter, and they know what they're doing. Jacksonville, Indy, that's more of a toss-up. But Jacksonville, to me, 7 wins, plus 105, plus juice for them to finish under 7.5. If the argument is, oh, Jacksonville has so many easy games, people think the same thing about them. You look at their schedule and go, I can't wait. Like I know I was having a conversation with a Dolphins fan about this. Oh, we got so many winnable games. Says who? The opponent goes, yay, we get the Dolphins. Can't wait. The soft Dolphins that are going to get beat on both lines of scrimmage. I like the over for Indy. I like the under for Jacksonville. Tennessee. 5.5. I was hoping 4. I was hoping 4.5 for Tennessee. Even 3. I mean, they had the number 1 pick in the draft. 5.5. I get it. For Vegas, because I think 3.5, 4.5, a lot of people are betting it. Like me, over. Cam Ward comes in, second year under Brian Callahan, old wide receivers, old defense, offensive line, we'll see. Cam Ward will have some awesome moments. He'll have some down moments as well. It's going to be a mix of everything. Tennessee could be frisky. I don't think betting Tennessee to have a better record than Jacksonville is crazy. I actually like it. I don't have the confidence to do it, but more power to you. If it was just 4.5, I'd go over. I think Tennessee can get 5 wins in this division. Could they beat every team in this division once? There's 3 wins there, and I think they could. I think Tennessee's going to be a frisky team, be a really good gambling team, cover a lot of spreads. Cam Ward, Rookie of the Year, good bet to make. Under minus 145. I'm not betting that because I hate this too big a number. For me, plus, you need plus juice to bet. For the most part, to keep it fun. Just boring, minus 140, whatever. That's how you like to do it. No offense. It's lame, but no offense. But Tennessee over plus 125. 6 wins is a lot for this team, first year. But I don't think they'll be terrible, and I think they'll be frisky. AFC West. Kansas City, 11.5. 3 straight Super Bowl appearances, won 2 of them. Travis Kelce engaged to Taylor Swift. Yay. Mahomes back. Andy Reid still there. Steve Spagnuolo still there. Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice suspended for the first 6 games. They play in every primetime slot. They play on Thanksgiving. They play on Christmas. They play in Brazil on Friday night. So they're all over the place. Tough schedule. 11.5, Kansas City. That would mean take the under. They're not getting to 12 wins. I'm not buying that. I'm not betting that. You can get them over plus 110. Yes, they have a tough schedule. And no, I don't think they'll finish first in the AFC. I think they'll finish third in the AFC. What? And yes, they have a really tough division, and some people are really high in Denver. I think Denver's going to be good. But Kansas City is still the gold standard. Lamar and Josh Allen have not taken the mantle because you have to beat Kansas City in order to get that. Philly is the benchmark because they won the Super Bowl last year. But Kansas City remains that team. Do they have holes? Yes. Do I think it's going to be really hard for them to win a Super Bowl this year? Yes, but could they? I trust Mahomes and I trust Andy Reid and that coaching staff to figure it out. I like Kansas City in the over. They get at least 12 wins. That's just me. Denver, 9.5. Denver, surprise playoff team last year. Win the division, you could get them over plus 400 right now. Over 11.5 wins plus 350 for the Denver Broncos. So, if you like them to win the division, you could parlay the over 11.5 plus win the division. You're getting over plus 600 odds on that. You put a unit, that's a good future if you like Denver. Bo Nix, Sean Payton, year 2. Better players around him. One of the best defenses in the league, top 5. Healthy defense. Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga come over. Alex Singleton, healthy. Pat Surtain Jr. II, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, is on the Denver Broncos. He takes off one side of the field, basically. I like Denver in the over. Just going to say that. Over plus juice, plus 100. 10 wins. Possibly 11. However, Minnesota won 13 games last year and was a wildcard team. Denver could still win 11 games and finish second in this division. I have too much respect for Kansas City for them to lose a division title. Will Denver beat them once this year? Maybe. Doesn't mean they'll win the division. They play on Christmas. Big game. But Kansas City remains the gold standard. Denver, over 9.5, yeah. Can get to 11, I would say. They won't get more than Kansas City. Denver, playoff team. Next up on the list, Los Angeles Chargers. Same number, 9.5. Were a playoff team last year. I got to tell you, I just got to stink about this Chargers team. And I don't have a great reason. Rashawn Slater getting injured hurts them a lot because he's such a good player. Justin Herbert was great in the regular season last year. Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. Just ask Michigan or Connor Stallions. Keenan Allen's back on his last legs. Lad McConkey's a stud. I think he has a big year. They can run the football. Their offensive line will still be okay. But Kansas City is better than them still. Denver, to me, is an improved, better team than the Chargers, and I think they'll show that this year. And the last team we'll talk about, I think, is pretty good as well. Sometimes it's just tough. If the Chargers were in the AFC South, they'd win the division. Probably. If they played in the AFC East, I think they'd finish second. But I think the Chargers are going to finish fourth in this division. Because I think the Raiders, who are at 6.5, their line right now, they're over-under. I like them going over, and I like Vegas to make the playoffs. The Las Vegas Raiders. My AFC playoff teams, in this order: Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Houston, Denver, New England, and the Las Vegas Raiders. 5 of those teams made the playoffs last year. I like to typically go with more variance, but I still like a lot of the same teams. Pittsburgh out from last year. Chargers out from last year. Indy or Jacksonville could squeak in. Jets, Dolphins, no chance. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, another 2 teams that are very much on the bubble. But I don't have enough faith in either of them to do enough. To me, Vegas with Pete Carroll. I like Geno. I think they're going to push the ball down the field. They're going to run the football with Ashton Genty. Their defense is solid. I think they get to 9 wins and find their way at 9-10 wins for Vegas gets them into the playoffs. Over 6.5, and you can get them to finish third in the division at plus 340. Vegas is that surprise team to me this year. We'll see, but to me, they have the makings of it. They're good. They have weapons. I like their team. So again, number 1 seed, Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Houston 4, Denver, New England, Vegas. New England, Vegas, new entrants. Let's go to the NFC. Start the NFC East with the champs. Philadelphia, open tomorrow night at home. They lose, Milton Williams, a few other guys on defense. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson goes to Houston. Jalen, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, Saquon Barkley, all 5 offensive linemen. Jalen Carter, Darius Slay left to go to Pittsburgh. But they got most of all the same team. The key ingredients to winning are all there. Philadelphia, to me, their biggest challenge is a first-place schedule, having a mark on their back, and injuries. But you can't quantify injuries because every team can have injuries. So saying, Philly's going to lose this year because of injuries, I think that's a stupid way to gamble because you don't know. That would be every year saying, Tom Brady's going to blow out his ACL. It only happened once in his career. And New England still won the division that year. AFC East. Philly's over-under is 11.5. They get a tough sked. No doubt about it. However, I think their division gets a lot of credit, and I don't think it should, quite frankly. Washington was a playoff team last year, and they lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Dallas is a perennial, how do you describe that? Perennial talked about group. But never really, the last time they were real serious was like 2016, 2018 range when Zeke was just coming out of the Ohio State. But they haven't been to an NFC Championship game since 1995. And then there's the Giants, who are trying to find themselves and build themselves up to being a good team again, which I think they're well on their way. So your division games aren't that difficult. And I'll elaborate that even more in a second. But will Philly get everybody's best punch? Sure. But they can still do the tush push. They can still run the football. They have all these athletes, right? So, open home against, how about them Cowboys? At Kansas City, week 2. Host Rams. At Bucks. Host Broncos. At Giants. At Vikings. Host Giants. At Green Bay. Interesting game. Host the Lions. Cowboys again. Bears. Chargers. Raiders. Commies. At Bills. Late December. Host Commies. Tough schedule. No doubt about it. But they're great. They're a great team. They can win games. I like Philly over. I think they go 5-1 or 6-0 in this division. At worst. I think Philly is going to win 13 games. I have them being the number 1 seed in the NFC. There's another team that added a player recently that is enticing. And I see a lot of players betting them, and I get it. But I trust Jalen Hurts more than I do, the quarterback who plays for the Packers. I like the weapons in Philly more than I like the weapons in Green Bay. The defense is just as good, if not better, in Philly than it is in Green Bay. So I like Philadelphia, 13 wins, top seed 13. That would be over. You get them the over plus 115. Easy playoffs. Easy over to me. Another division winner. Philly. Washington. 9.5. I was thinking about this more and more this week since we did my last pod on Monday. Washington playoff team last year. Awesome mojo. Jaden Daniels is awesome, which he is. But this Washington team stinks. And it did last year, too. It's old. The defense, I'm going to find their depth chart. I have it here doing my prep for the other podcast. It's lacking, to say the least. Let's see. Somewhere in my paper. It's got a lot of holes. Here we go. NFCs. Like Dorrance Armstrong, Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, Dietrich, Frankie Luba, Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, Lattimore, who looked cooked. An offensive line. Terry McLaurin's great. Old Debo. Eckler's their top running back. He's had concussion issues. I don't believe that they're going to be a playoff team. Washington. Playoff team last year. I don't think they're a playoff team this year. I think they're going to go under 9.5 wins. I lean more like 8-9 for Washington. It's not because of Jaden, because I think Jaden's a superb talent that can do it all. But the rest of the team around him just isn't that good. They got away with it last year. A lot of fluke, crazy things happen. I don't think it happens again. Washington under 9.5. Under is minus 120. Dallas 7.5. Was 7.5. Micah Parsons trade, now 6.5. Dallas isn't terrible. They traded Micah, and they're worse. No doubt about it. But offensively, they do have weapons, and Dak is aging, but still can play. I don't know if they'll run the football well. I have my doubts about that. Kenny Clark, they should be able to stop the run, because that's why they say they traded for him. So, God forbid they don't do that. They're still the third best team in this division, probably. But they beat Washington head-to-head last year. I think they can do it again this year, especially at home. They always beat Washington at home. The Giants, they own historically, regardless of who's been playing at quarterback. That probably continues. I think Dallas 6.5. You can get them. I like over 6.5. Give me 7 wins. That's probably one I'll regret telling you, but they got some winnable games. And they win 2-3 games. That's 3 wins already in your division. Find 4 more. Won't be against the Eagles. But 7 wins, I think they can get there. They're not that bad. They're not Cleveland level. They can win some games in their schedule. And they'll win too many games because they'll want every draft pick they have to be worse than it possibly could be. Over. Giants. 5.5 for the G-men. Again, like the Tennessee number, I wanted this to be lower. It's not. 5.5. Brutal schedule. I think we'll see some quarterback turnover at some point, going from Russell Wilson to Jackson Dart eventually. I don't hate their team. Defensively, you see Dexter Lawrence and Williams and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. You go, this team's going to get after the opposition's quarterback. Absolutely. This team won't get 6 wins this year. I don't think so. Building for the future, I like what they're doing. I think Jackson Darts can be good. I think they took Abdul Carter, number 4, stud. But under for the Giants. Only one team, NFC East, this team. Washington does not make the playoffs. NFC North. Green Bay. 10.5 before the trade. 11.5 now. Initially, I didn't think they'd win the division. I'm like, it's one deal. It's got a bad back already. But Love, I think, has potential, and I think he was banged up a lot of last year. Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons on both sides, that's a force. Losing Kenny Clark hurts. They got receivers that aren't elite but are complementary, sort of similar to the Bills model, if you will. And you get 12 wins plus 310 for Green Bay. They won 11 games last year. And they finished 3rd in their division. They only won 1 division game last year. And still finished 3rd and still made the playoffs. I like Green Bay to win the division. 12-5. They could maybe be a 13-win team, but I don't think they'll go that high. I have Green Bay finish 2nd in the NFC. Green Bay. Detroit. 9.5. Detroit, other than Dan Campbell, basically lost every coach they had. Most of them went to the Jets. Others went elsewhere, dispersed, new coaching opportunities. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, all coming back. They lose their all-pro center, Graham Glasgow. That hurts. Sorry, Frank Wright. No, Graham Glasgow's their new center. Aiden Hutchinson returning. A lot of juice on him to be Defensive Player of the Year. And Comeback Player of the Year. Little parlay ski. I'm not one of those people saying Detroit, sky's falling. They're not going to make the playoffs. They stink. I'm not buying into that. They got a tough schedule. They got Green Bay in week 1, which I actually think is a good time to get Green Bay. But there'll be some regression to me. They won 14 games last year. 15 games last year. That's as good as it gets. No, 14. Kansas City won 15, pardon me. 14-3 last year, Detroit Lions. So I get Detroit finishing second in this division. I have Detroit making the playoffs again, just as a wild card team. Next up, Minnesota. Minnesota, playoff team last year. They were at 13 wins, the most wins by a wild card team in NFL history. J.J. McCarthy, new quarterback. Sam Darnold's in Seattle. No Jordan Addison the first 4 games. Jefferson's still great. Defense, that is quite good actually, because Brian Flores is a great DC. Might not have been a great coach for Tua. Great defensive coordinator. I think for Minnesota, who won the second most one-score games in football last year, opposite only to Kansas City, that reverses. And J.J. McCarthy, technically his second year, but didn't play a snap last year. It's like he's a redshirt freshman. I don't love the team. I don't love the look of it, the smell. I think they're out, just like I think Washington was a playoff team. They're also out. And I have the Bears jumping in, Minnesota jumping out. Chicago, 7.5. I like the over. Caleb Williams, did he play well in the preseason? Did he have some bad looks? Yes. Is it going to take time? Absolutely. But Ben Johnson's a good coach. He knows how to coach offense. I think this team comes with Odunze and DJ Moore and good running backs and a good offensive line that they spent money in. A defense that has upside to get better. Chicago. I have them getting 10 wins. Even in this brutal division, I have Chicago making the playoffs. Year 1, Ben Johnson. And I had Chicago making the playoffs last year, and it blew up in my face. I'm going with it again. NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over under 9.5. Another interesting line where over minus 105, under minus 115. So shit juice on both. Baker back. They draft Emeka Egbuka from the Ohio State, who can ball. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin will be back by midseason. Trey Palmer, a good player. Cade Otton at tight end. Bucky Irving, second-year running back out of Oregon. Good offensive line, especially when Tristan Wirfs is back. Defense, okay. I think Tampa, when fully healthy, is one of the best offenses in the league of any team, period. Baker Mayfield's a top 10 quarterback, period. Anybody who doesn't think that anymore, I think it's just look up the stats. He is. He's a baller. He's a gamer. He's feisty. Tampa has won 5 straight NFC Souths. It's going to be 6. Again, competency and just looking around and seeing a bunch of trash around them. I don't see a real threat in this division to Tampa Bay, even while Tampa, and Boy, howdy, did they have a schedule. And let me pull that up for you. It's brutal, the Bucs schedule. At Falcons, not brutal, but they got to win that game. At Texans, Monday Night Football. Host Jets, okay? Host Eagles, at Seattle. Home Bucs, at Lions, Saints, Patriots. Got to go to Buffalo. Go to the Rams. Then you go see Panthers late, Dolphins late, Panthers, Falcons, Saints, Cardinals. That's their last 6 games. They can win all 6 of those. Bucs get to 10 wins. You go the over, -1. They finish 10-7. They're the 4 seed like they are every year. They're a bigger threat once they get to they've won a playoff game the last 4 years. I like the Bucs easy to win this division. Atlanta, 7.5. I don't know what to make of Atlanta. Michael Penix, year 2-ish, started some games at the back end of last year. Kirk Cousins is still on the team because his contract's so big. So he's still there, awkwardly. Kyle Pitts is still there, ruining people's fantasy drafts. Love Drake London. Love Bijan Robinson. Atlanta, to me, is a all-steak, no-sizzle team. They have lots of really nice pieces. Bijan, Drake London. Penix, when he's on target, can throw a ball as nice as anybody. But then you go, oh yeah, it's Atlanta. They haven't had a double-digit pass rusher since 2018, Vic Beasley. Penix accuracy struggled when he played last year. Bijan should do incredible things. They don't use him enough. He'll probably still win Offensive Player of the Year. New Orleans is brutal. I think they're the worst team in football. We'll get to that. Carolina is not a whole lot better. We'll see, though. I think Atlanta, with all their flaws and all I just went through, can get 8 wins. Because somebody's going to get 8 wins. There's teams that just finish. Carolina's not going to get there. New Orleans, we'll get to their number. I don't know what it is, how they get that many wins. I think Atlanta gets 8 wins. Doesn't mean they're a playoff team. They're still under 500. But I like their over. But Atlanta not surpassing Tampa to me. No way, no how. Maybe in the mix for a hot minute, but no. Tampa wins the South. Atlanta finishes second. 8 wins. Take the over, but not that much for the over. Carolina, 6.5. Over is -130. Which I thought you'd get plus juice on that because I don't think Carolina's that. They just traded Adam Thielen. Bryce Young had good moments back end of last year, but even then I go, oof. I'm worried about that team. Worried quite a bit about that team. Like Chuba Hubbard, the Canadian, they drafted Tataroa McMillan, 9th overall from Arizona. Coker should be fine. I think their offense will be okay. Offensive line's decent. It's the defense. It's really, really bad. It's going to be one of the worst defenses in the league, if you ask me. And to get to 7 wins, this Carolina Panthers team, I just don't see it. You can beat New Orleans twice. Maybe you beat Atlanta once. Maybe you get the Bucks. I don't think so. But say you win 3 wins, you go 3-3 in the division. You got to win 4 more games elsewhere, and I don't think you're finding them. Carolina can get 6 wins. Still a step in the right direction, but I'm going under on Carolina. That brings us to New Orleans. 4.5. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, the quarterback battle that nobody cared about. Rattler won it. He's the starting quarterback. Shuck will play at some point. Can guarantee you that. I said this. 4.5 is staggering. This could be a 2-win team. New Orleans, to me. Let's see. Home Cardinals, home 49ers, at Seattle, at Bills, Giants, winnable game. Home Patriots, at Bears, Bucks, at Rams, at Panthers, Falcons, at Dolphins, maybe winnable. Jets, maybe. Titans, Falcons. It's a really easy schedule, don't get me wrong. But it's really easy for the team playing them as well. Maybe 4. Maybe. I'm going under 4. I don't think New Orleans gets 4 wins, let alone 4.5. Under. I like New Orleans to finish dead last in the league to get the number 1 overall pick. A couple of props I like there, but they're no threat. They're a threat to everybody who wants the top pick. That's who New Orleans is a threat to. They stink, and they'll play 2-3 quarterbacks this year. And they'll draft a new one. NFC West. I have 2 playoff teams from the NFC West. You know, San Francisco, who didn't make the playoffs last year, has a larger over-under than the Rams, who nearly beat the Eagles and could have won the Super Bowl, which I find interesting, comical maybe. San Francisco, 10.5. 10.5, and they got a last place schedule in their division, which is favorable. But I don't think they have some cupcake division. 10.5 means you take the over, you got to get 11. I'm no math major, but that's how that works. $11 wins for a team with less talent in recent years. A quarterback that is paid a whole lot more but hasn't really delivered. A healthy Christian McCaffrey for now, and I want him to be healthy the whole year, but I can only go by history here. Your best receiver is Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Bueller. Love Kittle. Offensive line, defense, not as good as it used to be. It's still pretty good, but it's not as good as it used to be. Nick Bosa, still great, but I like the under. And Vegas loves San Francisco. To bet the under, plus juice. Plus juice. Bet the over, minus 120. They really think they're going to be great. I don't. 9 wins. 9 wins. Doesn't get them into the playoffs. Doesn't win the division. I just don't see it. 1 injury, like last year. This team goes to absolute hell. And their margin of escaping injuries like they had in previous years is not what it used to be. Kyle Shanahan be damned. I don't see it happening. No. Under. Rams, 9.5. Matthew Stafford did not participate in much of the training camp, preseason, all that. Back injury. He's as tough as they come. He's going to play. I trust him. I like their defense. I like the Devontae Adams addition. I like Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. Fun. Offensive line, solid. I think the Rams win this division. I think the Rams are one of the bigger threats to the Eagles in the NFC to win the Super Bowl, just like they were last year. If they're healthy come playoff time, they are as dangerous as anybody, including Green Bay. I have the Rams getting 11 wins. I think they'll finish third in the NFC. Philly, Green Bay, Rams, Bucks. And there's one spot left for a playoff team for me. I thought about both these teams. You got two interesting teams. Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. Arizona is interesting. Kyler Murray, Maserati Marv, Budda Baker, my boy, love him. James Conner, run the ball down your throat. But I couldn't get invested. Some people love that. Kyler Murray is so inconsistent. 8.5. I think they'll finish under 500. I got them go at 8 and 9, so I like them the under. I like Seattle as my final playoff team. NFC's tough. I think they're going to need 10 wins to get in. I think they're going to get 10 wins. Sam Darnold was a playoff quarterback last year. Seattle, with Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, Cooper Kupp, who comes over from the Rams, Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker Jr. III, 200 monster at running back, really good offensive line, and improved defense, great home field, kind of invigorated team. Seattle to me. I got Minnesota out, Washington out, Chicago in, Seattle in. My two new playoff teams in the NFC. Could it be San Fran? Yeah, some of the people that predict them could be right. I'm going with Seattle. I like them a little bit more. Darnold to Purdy, no big difference to me. No real difference. If Darnold had the roster Purdy had the last number of years, he probably could have got to the Super Bowl. Proved it last year. He went 13-4 in a Minnesota, with a Minnesota team that was not as good as those San Francisco teams. We'll see. Seattle could finish fourth. They could finish first in the West. I don't think they will, but I think they make the playoffs. Philly, Green Bay, Rams, Bucks, Lions, Bears, Seahawks. My NFC playoff teams. My Super Bowl prediction. Picking a rematch is lame. Because it's so unlikely to happen. My thought is which one's less likely to get back, and I honestly think it's Philly because I think the NFC is slightly more difficult. It's just more deep. Bills, Ravens, really tough, but Kansas City always seems to beat them. If you look around, Tampa I think is better than they were last year. Green Bay is certainly better. The Bears are better. The Rams are as good or better, and they almost beat them. Seattle's improved. So it's a tough go every week in the NFC. In saying that, I believe that the Eagles will get back to the Super Bowl. Go back to back and getting there. Because I just think they're the best team. I have faith in them to produce in the clutch moments. Kansas City's been to 3 straight Super Bowls. I think that ends this year. And I already have doubts saying it because Mahomes is as clutch as they come, and he's the best quarterback in the world, and Andy Reid is a phenomenal coach. But I think it's the Bills' season. I think Buffalo, with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, they have figured it out. And they built a really good team. They're confident. They're quietly humble, knowing that they're very good. I think they're going to beat the Ravens in week 1 to really make a statement. So I like Buffalo, Philadelphia in the Super Bowl, and San Francisco, Super Bowl 60. And for the first time in NFL history, I think the Buffalo Bills will win a Super Bowl. Defeating the Eagles, defeating the champs in a fun game. Say 27-24 in San Fran, in the Bay Area. Bills over Eagles in the Super Bowl, my prediction. Week 1, got some fun games. Dallas, Philadelphia kicks it off tomorrow night. Philly's great. I've already said this. I think that Dallas covers tomorrow night, however. I think it's a touchdown win. I think Dallas covers this. It's a first night. It's a weird game. I like Dallas plus the points. Kansas City Chargers. Chargers technically a home game. 3-point dog. Kansas City loves close games. This easily could be a push. I can say Kansas City wins by 3+. I like Kansas City minus the points. New York Giants at Washington football team, a.k.a. Washington Commanders. Ugh, I hate that name. It should just be Washington football team. So, it's dropped down now to 5.5 because I wrote these down the other day on Monday. 6.5 I really liked. Even the line, I like the Giants plus 5.5 on the road. A lot of New York fans will be there. Russell Wilson first start. The New York Giants defense. Again, I don't think Washington's going to be that great. I like New York plus the points. Carolina at Jacksonville, 3.5. This is a stay away for me. Weird game. Trevor Lawrence, how it's going to look. Stay away. Steelers, Aaron Rodgers going back to play the Jets. Steelers, 2.5-point favorites on the road. I like the Steelers minus the points. Raiders, Patriots, 2 playoff teams for me in Foxborough. Patriots win by at least a field goal. Patriots minus 3. Cardinals, Saints, Cardinals, 6.5. Cardinals cover that number. Bengals, Browns. The Bengals curse of week 1. We know they stink in week 1. But they played Burrow in the preseason. They're in Cleveland. They struggle to score points there. I like Cleveland plus 5.5. Dolphins, Colts, stay away. Bucks minus 1.5 in Atlanta. I like Bucks minus the points there. Seattle plus 2.5 hosting San Francisco. I like Seattle plus 2.5. I like Seattle to win the game outright. Houston, Rams minus 3. I like Baltimore to win. I like Buffalo. Buffalo's a dog at home, plus 1.5. That line's changed. I like Buffalo to win. You can get Buffalo plus points right now. Hammer that. So, as I mentioned, every Sunday night after the 525 games, I will be going live on the podcast. Might have a guest, never know, some Sunday night to talk about the games. But it'll be me every Sunday around 8:30, 9 o'clock after the 5:30 games to recap the afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm stoked for the upcoming season. Thanks for hanging out with the coverage ongoing. Enjoy the opener tomorrow and on Friday. We will talk again Sunday evening. Until then, stay healthy. I'm your host, Noah Warren, and this is the Live and Learn podcast.